Ayush, how are you, bro?
GM, doing well, G. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good, good. Just let me know in the chat, guys. Can you hear us, first of all, of course? And can you see the stocks and crypto Pepes with no heads? As the image seems to have cut itself off.
I think that's all we need. It doesn't matter.
That's all we need. But just making sure everyone can see and hear. Good. All right, perfect. Getting a lot of yeses there. Let's move over to this now, where it's us. And now we're on. And I'll share my screen. And let's go. So, GM everyone, welcome all you stocks Gs and trading Gs. This is I don't even know how many we've done. I should probably more than five, less than 10, I guess.
Yeah, I think we
Uh,
have done five. Exactly.
Five.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite streams. We don't do them often enough, but every time we do them, they're always fun. So, very, very happy to get them in. And what better time to do it than when the market is transitioning out of this summer chop into hopefully some nice trends after, for at least for crypto, after 7 months of choppiness. We're finally going to see some good conditions, hopefully. So, anyone who is new and hasn't been on one of these, what we'll do is introduce ourselves, get a quick overview of what we both think of the market, and some of the very interesting things that have gone on, especially between the crossover of crypto and macro, the general environment around the world, what's happening with all the central banks and governments and all that kind of stuff, and then get into your questions. So if you have a question, my guys know where it is. Stocks guys, it's in the live questions channel. I think Ayush has told you that. Drop a question in there. We'll do the Q&A at the end and get through as many as we can. All right. So, you want to give yourself a quick intro, Ayush? I'm sure everybody knows you, but in case there's anyone who doesn't.
For sure. Thanks, Michael. So excited to be here, first of all. I always love these crossover streams. My name is Ayush. I'm the professor in the stocks campus. And yeah, I mostly specialize in equity markets as well as equity index futures. For crypto, it's just out of interest because it's the new hot market and trends really well, which aligns with my system. So I think that's all there's to say. And yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, Michael.
Perfect. Good stuff. And of course, I'm Professor Michael G. Um, run the crypto trading campus. And in terms of what we do, like we always talk about this when we get on, Professor Ayush and I trade very similarly using price action, obviously different kind of versions of it, but the same kind of concepts and principles. I just focus solely on crypto. I haven't dipped my toes into stocks in any great sense yet. Every year I say I will. Every year I don't do it. Maybe eventually. I mean, definitely I will eventually. I do think that crypto won't be hyper profitable forever, but for the next foreseeable future, at least, it seems to be the way. And let's get right into it. So, last time we were on, the market was not looking as good as it does now. It's looking much better. And at that point, I think it was just no, it was just before. It was literally like a day or two before the Japanese yen carry trade blow up and all the recession fears and all that kind of stuff. Uh,
Yes, it was exactly August 4th, I think. August 4th.
oh, it was just after. Yeah, it was just after we'd crashed, wasn't it?
So August 5th is when the crash happened. We talked on the Sunday, August 4th.
Oh, yeah, we talked on the Sunday, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So literally, talk about timing. We literally had the stream here. It was there. That's where we were, and then markets went down, flushed down on BTC as low as just below 50, and then from
Mhm.
there it's been a reaccumulation, recovery, consolidation process, and it's looking much much better now. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I had sold my Bitcoin at about 63. It was actually just the day before, 2 days before that stream, and since then I've got back in, saw what I wanted to see. We've seen the reaccumulation back into Bitcoin, fully spot long since then. I'm interested in what's your kind of positioning like at the moment, Ash, for uh, stocks and crypto or equities and crypto?
Uh, sure. So, in the last stream that we talked about in the early August, I had said that Bitcoin was in sideways action. And as long as it holds above the 50-week moving average, I'm not really planning on making any changes. So, when it dropped all the way to the 50-week moving average, when I woke up on Monday, well, it was a bit of a shock. But once it started to bounce, I picked up a bit more on around 52K. and I mentioned it to the guys. And for the most part, price simply moved sideways. And the same thing happened in stocks as well. So in the morning of August 5th, there was obviously some panic. And my main job was mostly to calm down the guys. I was like, don't take any short-term positions because we weren't carrying any risk into that weekend. We
Yeah.
knew that there was some risk short term. So we were already in scalp mode. But for long term investments, I told the guys like bull markets don't end in panic. All right. There's a big saying that bear markets end in a panic, bull
Mhm.
market end with a whimper. All right. It's
Yep.
bear markets end with a bang, bull markets end with a whimper.
Yep.
So most of the bull market tops happen with months and months of sideways consolidation. It does not just happen that we are going up, 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 and then drop 10% in the bear market starts. That's not how it works. It's usually a correction. And even if the bear market will happen or recession will happen, usually that correction has a bounce. We consolidate for months, and then the bear market somewhere begins once we break down from that range. So when the August panic hit, same as crypto, same with stocks, I told the guys to not touch long term investment positions because they will regret if they do that. And for short term positions, we simply scalped all August until mid September. And then I think around when we had the first drop in September, that's when we said like guys, this is higher lows, time to take some swings. So we took some swings for about 2.5 weeks, which we sold out this Thursday. And now we're back into scalp mode because going into elections, the markets already had a nice run. I believe there will be some consolidation,
Yeah.
not something nasty, just 4 weeks of nothingness. And not the same for crypto, by the way. That's just for stocks. Crypto already is in consolidation, so it might front run the election results.
Yeah.
But for US stock market, we will see some consolidation going into the elections. And then once the uncertainty is done of the elections, we can take off. Crypto also benefits from the fact that it's not solely dependent on the US for pumping. If Chinese liquidity injection comes in or if things are going well in Asia, crypto will run, but stocks will wait for the US election results because they impact US equities more than they do crypto.
For sure. And you can see this here on the chart, guys. Like Nasdaq, just as an example, is much more likely to be starting a consolidation compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's much more likely to be towards the end of its consolidation, as it spent almost 7 months going sideways and down, whereas stocks have been going up for quite a bit of that time, and they're just now starting to go sideways. And I've mentioned this on my streams about how almost every election year you have some kind of consolidation on equities going into it. And I think because of that, just like what I said, a lot of people expect crypto to do the same, but really they're moving at different speeds right now. Stocks did much better throughout the summer, and crypto was lagging. And there was a lot of talk about that. People saying, "Why is crypto still going down? Everything should be good. It should be better." Now you're probably going to see crypto move in its own way, and it makes sense too. I just recorded Weekly Outlook before this, which isn't live yet. It's uploading at the moment, and you can see the correlation of the Nasdaq and Bitcoin, which for the last few weeks, obviously Nasdaq's been outperforming. It's starting to break back the other way. You might start to see a bit of outperformance of crypto versus equities again. So, any of you who trade both, I mean, it's great conditions if you do get that right, because you can come right out of swings on one into swings on the other.
I won't even say it's going to be a bit of an outperformance. Crypto might massively beat equities going forward. I was even talking about this in my campus. I was saying, like, it's not a surprise that money will flow out of the US stock market now and then start going to the Chinese stock market because Chinese stock market has been in consolidation for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
If you check at KWeb, KWeb is the, or
KWeb,
yeah,
KWEB.
yeah, because those are the Chinese internet stocks, which are the main ones. And you can see that base, right? That's a solid base for about 2.5, 2 years.
Yeah.
And almost all of them are starting to break now. And those are the names where the money will flow because they're already consolidated, right? They have already accumulated there. And that's where the money will flow. And it won't be a surprise because, first of all, the Chinese government is stimulating its economy. And then US has outperformed for so long, it probably needs a consolidation.
Yeah. Yeah, if you see that, like looking from the start of 2022, where you had the full pullback, the mini bear market, whatever you want to call it, and a massive reacceleration, outperformance, all while there's been consolidation going on over in China. and that definitely looks set for a breakout, doesn't it?
Yep. Yep. So just like this, so crypto, it's not exactly the same, but crypto benefits from Asian markets quite a bit. So I think money can flow out of the US equities and start moving towards crypto, start moving towards Chinese equities. I don't think so about Japan, right? Japan is always it's always a mess. I don't know what they have been doing since the 90s, but
Yeah,
China should be good.
yeah. I mean, it's just been hammered for 10 years or more, so plenty of
Yep.
room for that to run one against the other. Yeah, Japan's interesting. I mentioned this as well, but you definitely know much more than I will. So obviously, China started stimulating last week and cut rates as well as pumping. Was it like a trillion yuan or something? Isn't it? Which is
Yeah.
something like $200 billion, and with more to come. And then Japan, wasn't it? What was it? New prime minister has said that they're going to stimulate or willing to stimulate, or what is it?
So I think they have a new prime minister. And the second thing was the Bank of Japan came out and said they won't increase rates anymore. So
Yeah,
they kept the rates as it is. So they're not tightening their economy anymore, which is good because then you do not have more of the unwind of the carry trade.
yeah,
And yeah, in general, if governments are relaxed about their economic policies, that's just good for the money flow.
yeah. So this is what was, but when we were on our last stream for everyone watching, this is one of the things that was contributing to the sudden crash in early August as the Japanese yen carry trade was unwinding, and many people who were playing that with leverage were overexposed, would have had to, trim risk from the rest of their positions, or if they were caught short on it. And basically, as long as this doesn't continue to go down at a fast pace, you should see everything settle, right?
Yeah, I agree. And even the recession fears, they were a bit overblown because we just had a bear market. And they, like, this is one thing I would like to discuss because I think that might be interesting for your campus as well, Michael.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
sure.
so, one thing that they keep talking about is the inverted yield curve, right?
Yep.
And how that usually leads to recessions. And that does I mean, that does happen. It has been happening since the 1970s, but that's not always the case. That hasn't happened throughout history. And there's not much of a logical reason for that, except the fact that most businesses in the US did not really hold on to many savings. So most of the
Yeah.
times when Fed would raise rates, you would start to feel the effects of that, like of not being able to get loans. You will start to feel the effects of economic slowdown about a year and a half down the line. For with COVID, for the first time, the businesses realized that they do need to have some savings, otherwise they risk actually dying out like they did in COVID. And that changed the dynamics a bit because even if the government does increase the rates for the loans, most of the businesses have some savings where they can survive. And the economic slowdown did not happen at the rate that the Fed feared, which is where the soft landing narrative came in, and which is why the inverted yield curve is not leading to many problems this time, like it did in the past.
Hmm. Yeah,
So.
exactly. And all these things, I mean, especially just something as simple as number of data points, right? There's only been a handful of recessions in modern history. So how much can you really draw into what's happened in the past around those times? You know, if you had like 100 recessions to draw from, you could say, okay, these are statistically significant things. But yeah,
I
for
mean, it
today's,
also has to make some logical sense, right? Like the economic slowdown will only matter if uh, if the money is needed by the businesses to, let's say, grow or just do their daily services. But if they already have some savings, if they have some backup, then it does not affect them that much.
yeah,
And US is not a country that used to have savings until they had this shock for the first time in a long time, where businesses just shut down for a period.
yeah.
And I think that changed the dynamics a bit.
What do you think about? There's a couple of things I want to ask. So I'll remind. One of them is about recession. The second one, so in case anyone can remind me after, is about tech stocks versus other stocks. With recession, uh, obviously, if a recession, like the way I see it, speaking for Bitcoin anyway, I don't see an actual deep bear market again until there's a recession. I think that Bitcoin seems to have navigated through all the other types of uh, risks. So it'd be some kind of major liquidity decrease or a recession, right? What do you think happens if there's not a recession in the next like 2 years? Where do you think things go? Obviously, like broadly up, but how do you have an idea of how you think it would look?
Do you just mean for crypto or for?
For
in general.
everything, really. Yeah.
Okay, so for stocks, at least I've been telling the guys, and I told them at the start of the year, in like the first weekly watch list I made at the start of the year, I told them that usually the third year out of a bear market, right, like the third year in a bull market, is consolidation.
Hmm.
So what happens? 2022 was a bear market. 2023 we started the bull market again, and bull markets last a lot longer and go a lot higher than most people want to believe. This is why you have bears that turn early and then they get. So the third year in a new bull market usually is consolidation. Why? Because finally all the like the hardcore bears are starting to turn because the economy starts to look good. The problems like the joblessness and all that has gone down. Business is coming back. So the hardcore bears finally give up. And then the bulls, after 2 years of a bull market, they're already too excited. And
Yeah.
this kind of conditions, the market cannot really go anywhere. Bull markets usually climb a wall of worries.
Hmm.
So the US already had the 2 years of bull market. And I told the guys at the start of 2024 that 2024 will be bullish. Election years are usually bullish. 2025 will likely be a consolidation year. And this is why the narrative that crypto might keep running into 2025, I mean, it might work now with the China liquidity, but there is a chance that if US starts to consolidate, which means there will be a big move down that comes back up, in that case crypto might also stall a bit. So what I'm expecting, and you can see this in 2005, you can see this in 2011, whenever we come out of a bear market, the third year is usually just like a indecision candle. So you will see a move up, you'll see a move down, and then just price doesn't really go anywhere. Like
Hmm.
they're mostly around plus 3%, plus 5%, something like that, compared to the 20-25% that you can see in the third year. Sorry, in the first year of a bull market, in the second year of a bull market.
Yeah.
So next year, I'm simply expecting consolidation on the indices.
Yeah.
And that does not really have to have a negative impact on Bitcoin, but I could definitely see it stalling as well. So similar, Bitcoin also had a bear market in 2022,
Yep.
had a nice green candle in 2023, has a nice green candle in 2024. I would say in 2025, once we get to 100, 108K, we start a pullback that does not really drop like the previous bear markets, but we simply end up with an indecision candle rather than a major red candle.
Hmm.
So that's my expectation for Bitcoin now that it's becoming a more mature asset.